Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meow Mix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we are here to preview Week 1.
Guys, we made it. We made it. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. We made it from watching the playoffs last year to going into free agency, then the draft,
Coaching searches.
everything, all
We're
this.
here.
I mean, think about it. Last time we saw this team on the field playing meaningful games, I don't even remember the quarterback. I guess it was Sam Darnold probably started that last game. I don't know. It could have been P.J. Walker with how many injuries we had.
I believe it was Sam Darnold. Yeah.
I think Foreman was out or he got ejected.
I blacked out most of that final game there.
Yeah.
Really the final couple of weeks, but we're back, and football season is here. The Panthers play a real football game in just a few days. Football officially starts tomorrow night with a pretty interesting game. So I'm excited. I got my Colorado Coach Prime shirt on here.
You really went and got that, didn't you?
I sure did. I sure did. So
I will be cheering hard for Colorado this week.
That's
for
right.
Obvious reason, though.
And in case you didn't know, they are playing the Matt Rule-led Nebraska Cornhuskers, who were defeated in Week 1 of the college football season. So looking for Coach Rule to go 0-2. But we're here to talk about the Panthers today.
Yes, we are. And it is a great day to do it, too.
It is. It's just going to be, the next few days, everyone should be really, really excited, really, really happy. Football's back. There's nothing. I mean, we'll talk about one, potential pitfall here in a minute, but everything's good. And Jerry, Frank Reich has a little bit of news for us.
Okay. Take it away, Frank.
We'll get started. We'd like to announce we had a vote for player captains the other day. Our captains for the 2023 season, as voted on by the players, are on defense, Shaq Thompson, Brian Burns, special teams, Johnny Hecker. On offense, it's Bryce Young, Adam Thielen, and Taylor Moton. So excited about those 6 guys being captains. Good guys.
Good guys.
Good guys.
Good guys.
Good guys.
Yeah, so those are the captains. Specifically, Bryce Young gets to be a captain in his first year. I think that was pretty obvious. I think Ritter's a captain. I think
no, he's not.
Ritter's not a captain. C.J. Stroud is a captain.
Yeah. I was going to say, usually you're a first pick. You're going to get the captain. You're going to get the C. Even if you're not the greatest leader in the locker room, usually the coaches stuff the mailbox there or ballot box.
And by all accounts, Bryce is a good leader. So
yes.
Not saying
that wasn't
Bryce
knocking on him. I was
not
just saying
a knock
that
against Bryce, but is AR? Do you know if AR got a captaincy?
It would not shock me. That guy, I think he's a great leader too. So it would not shock me that they did
just
that.
curious if all the top guys got it or not, but Bryce is, and so is Brian Burns, who obviously, not a surprise that Brian Burns is a captain, but there is some trouble in paradise, I guess you could say, or
yeah, no, it's trouble. It's choppy waters.
Burns did practice today, or at least he was there. He was listed as a full participant. It seems like he mostly was working by himself, from what the reporters who were there were saying. But there is some good news.
Yes. One of the big dominoes that has been coming up in the Brian Burns situation is they wanted to wait till Bosa got signed, Nick Bosa from the 49ers.
And that was what was being said,
reports,
right?
Yeah, because you don't want to.
Yeah, well, we don't know if it was the Panthers that were waiting or Brian Burns that was waiting or both. I feel like both were probably waiting, honestly. The Panthers hoping that he took less money, Burns hoping that he broke the bank like he did. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, Bosa signed $170 million for 5 years. I think 122 of it or something is guaranteed, fully guaranteed. Just a ridiculous contract.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly insane. $34 million a year on average. So Burns, rumors were he was looking for around 28. I say if you can get him for 28 at this point, take that, run.
Run that dotted line to him.
Right. But I mean, the Panthers just put themselves in such a bad negotiating position here.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to have to pay him. I would expect now that Bosa is signed that this gets done within the next couple of days, probably.
I do too. I think this is what the domino is waiting. I think Brian Burns, because I believe him and Bosa are under the same management deal.
Yeah, I think they're both rep by CAA. Talent agency.
So that could be 100% why Burns was waiting. He could have been like, his agents obviously knew what was going on with Bosa. They're like, we're about to get 34, so you're asking for 27, and they're balking 28. Wait till this comes out, and then
and get 30.
Yeah.
I mean, has Brian Burns up to this point earned that kind of money? I mean, I don't think so. I think he is a really, really good player with a potential to be a superstar. I don't think he's there yet. Perhaps in Evero's system he becomes that, which I think is what we're all hoping for. So
I agree.
There's no reason not to give him that money.
Yeah, and if you look at him and Nick Bosa's stats, they're a lot closer than I realized. Yes, Bosa has 13 less games played than Brian Burns, but if you remember, Brian Burns also really did not play his rookie season because Ron Rivera had him as a gunner.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Burns has certainly grown into his position, and by all accounts, we're expecting great things from him this year,
especially with Houston Panthers, on the other side.
Right, the Panthers turned down multiple first-round picks plus for him. You have to sign him. There's no question. It would be if Fitterer would be fired.
He should be fired. He should be fired if he does not get this signed. If you start lagging this along, franchise tag him, and then by that time, you're going to have like I am having trouble speaking, everybody. Micah Parsons going to be coming up, and
right.
Parsons is going to break Bosa's record, so that's just going to crank up Burns's contract more. I mean, get it done.
Yeah, they should have got it done already. And maybe Burns was holding out for Bosa. Maybe.
And I do want to preface it this. I think Burns did it the right way to show that he's here for the long haul. I'm going to practice through this incredibly hot training camp. I'm not going to hold out. Mm-hmm. But now he stopped practicing towards this week because he's like, hey, let's get this thing rolling. I've been doing my due diligence. On him.
Yeah. I don't blame him one bit. I think he should have probably been doing this all along. I'm glad that he wasn't. I'm glad that he was around for training camp. I'm glad that he's been practicing up to this point. And really, this is the first time we've heard that he has been kind of exerting any pressure at all, really, in terms of his availability. So I do hope that this gets done within the next couple of days. I expect it will, and he should be lining up for us Sunday.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. And yeah, for those of you upset that Brian Burns wants that much money, well, I mean,
who cares? Get over it.
If I could get paid that much money, I would do the same thing. I mean, I have no problem with any of these players going after their bag or their money. I mean, that's just like you and me. And if someone leaves to get a higher paying job, I say go do it.
We're not paying him.
Yeah.
I mean, people realize that, right? Like that money's not coming out of our pockets.
And it's not even coming out of the fans who go to the games. You know where that money's coming from? Those big TV deals. I almost cussed, sorry.
Yeah. Well, and plus you sign him now. In 2 years, it's not a crazy contract because the salary cap has gone up so much. Mm-hmm. In 3 years, it's a bargain.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it makes no sense not to sign him and to be upset about it. And I've seen some Panthers fans on Twitter, oh, he's not worth this money. He is to the Panthers. He is worth it to the Panthers. And that's all that you need to know.
Yeah, because, I mean, who's going to rush the passer this week besides Brian Burns and Justin Houston? Marquise Haynes was just placed on IR, so not him.
Certainly not going to be Marquise Haynes. Nope.
News
Yep,
tidbit.
Marquise, he is placed on IR, so he will miss at least the first 4 games. That's pretty much it for the news.
Oh yeah, that would.
Yeah. I do want to say that this podcast today is brought to you by Andrew C.
Oh yes.
Andrew has been a loyal supporter of Meow Mix for several months now, if not longer. There is an ability to support the show via Spotify podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be Anchor, now it's owned by Spotify. And Andrew has been graciously, just really supportive of us there, and we do appreciate it, Andrew. And if you can't be like Andrew, and certainly we don't expect anything, or we don't pimp ourselves that much, we don't ask for a lot, but if you could just go to YouTube and subscribe, give us a like, give us a subscribe, go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, Spotify podcast, leave us a whatever their equivalent of a 5-star review is. We would really appreciate it. It helps with our discoverability, and it does help us occasionally get some sponsorships. We make a little bit of money here and there. We're currently not sponsored right now, but we're sponsored by you guys, so we definitely appreciate it.
And the little bit of money, yes, we do go to David Buster. Andrew did call us out for that occasionally, but
we do. But we've been forgetting to spend that money when we go. We've just been spending our own money.
We have done that quite a bit. But we also get the little swag that we do have, stickers, keychains, stuff like that. We do try to get.
We do our PFF subscription. We do the NFL Plus subscription. All that stuff gets paid for by the podcast, and it helps the podcast. It makes us better. So
get to watch that all 22. I'm very excited, as long as it's not a horrible game.
Well, I don't think it will be, and we're going to tell you why.
Yes.
Right after this break.
And we are back. And again, starting off week 1, we have injuries. Unfortunately, it's the way of the game. But so with the Panthers, by the way, I don't know what happened to the Carolina Panthers injuries report on their website, but it's not there anymore. It's like this written up article by Darren Gant. I love Darren Gant, but I used to love just the quick little box setup that they had. So
weird.
Did not practice. Wide receiver DJ Shark, hamstring. Defensive end Deshaun Williams, illness. Limited practice safety Sam Franklin Jr. Wide receiver Terrace Marshall Jr. back. Wide receiver Adam Thielen ankle. That's a new one right there, I believe. But the receiving core is still not healthy, guys.
It sucks going into week 1 with DJ Shark, who is perennially hurt, right? Already coming in hurt. Adam Thielen, who is getting a little older. With I don't even know when this injury occurred.
It had to have been through a walkthrough or something.
Yeah. Marshall's been battling this back injury pretty much all training camp. No idea if and when he's going to be ready. A guy, by the way, that we need to step up this year, because our receiving core, even when healthy, is bottom third of the league, likely, so we need these guys to step up. And if we're going into week 1 with Laviska Shenault starting on the outside, that ain't good.
Laviska Shenault and Mingo. Good. That would be our starting 2 right there.
We'd have Amir Smith-Marset would have to play a lot, and they may call right up from the practice squad. It could be rough looking out there.
100%.
Now I think Thielen will play.
Yeah, I do too. I personally
don't know about Marshall.
I think Marshall will probably dress and go. A back injury. As someone who gets out of bed and hurts his back, actually, funny story. Last year, I was raking leaves and I literally dropped to the ground screaming in pain because I had a pinched nerve in my back. So,
well,
I could just imagine getting hit by a linebacker.
Yeah, back injuries can be debilitating, right? Depending on what it is. So I don't know the specifics of his, but we hope that he's out there, and we hope that he's as close to 100% as he could be. So There are some Atlanta injuries as well. Jeff Okudah with an ankle did not practice. Jonnu Smith did not practice but listed as rest. He'll be there. And then Cordell Patterson and Kaderil Hodge both listed as limited practice. So coming in pretty healthy are the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I think Akuda would be the only big one that is injured. I'm assuming, looking real quick, I do believe he is slated as their starter cornerback. I love this guy coming out of the draft, but he hasn't played well since.
Yeah, I don't know if
draft.
I don't know if he's listed as a starter or not for them, honestly. Because they have had a lot of turnover as well on that team, especially the defense.
And he's one of them, but that's what PFF has him ranked as starter. So
I mean that would be a loss for sure, and it may be a welcome one if we've got Laviska Shenault starting out there. So we'll see. But looking at the betting numbers here for those that are interested, the Panthers are 3.5-point underdogs in this game. The over/under is listed at 39.5. Not a lot of confidence that this is going to be a high-scoring affair.
No.
And I think I would agree, honestly. I think it's going to be a lot of running. I mean, when Arthur Smith is a big running guy anyway, like he wants to run the ball. They got Bijan. They've got Patterson. They've got Algier. They're going to want to run the ball. And then we've got a rookie quarterback. And what's the best thing to do with a rookie quarterback is run the ball.
Yep.
So I could very much be seeing this being a 17-14 type game. Right. I think it'll be a close one, but, and Vegas does too, 3.5 points. So, yeah. If you had a bet, Jerry, would you go over or under on the 39.5?
I'm going to say over.
Oh, I think I smell a beer bet here, Jerry.
Beer bet of the week.
Yeah, because I'll take the under on that. I
Okay,
think it's going to
39.
be a low-scoring game.
Because I'm going to go over because I think that Frank Reich has been holding cards close to his vest. And I also think, from what I heard Atlanta Falcons commentator go on the radio today on WFNZ, and he was talking about how they're really enjoying all the pieces that they have. I still don't believe in Desmond Ridder, but whatever. No. But with Bijan Robinson, he can line up as a receiver. He can run the ball. You got Cordell Patterson doing the same thing. And Algier can do the same thing. And Pitts, I mean, he was just not utilized last year.
And I don't know if he's going to be utilized a lot this year either.
I don't either. And Drake London looked good.
I think he's great. Yeah. Also, you think the Falcons are just going to score a lot of points?
No. I'm just saying, I personally...
Sounds like that's what you're saying.
I think the Panthers will, but that's...
Okay.
I think a lot of...
Stay tuned for Jerry's prediction.
I was going to say, but I think 39.5 is kind of a low, so that's why I was going over.
I think it's low, and I think it's appropriate. So, and we'll talk about it again. We'll give our predictions at the end of the podcast here. But the Panthers need to win this game. Like, we want to start off with a win. Mm-hmm. How are we going to do that, Jerry? Give us our first key to victory.
Key to a Panthers victory starts up front, protecting Bryce Young. They did not look solid in the preseason, but I think, again, they were mixing up. I don't think you should have been doing this with Bryce Young back there, but they were mixing up different blocking schemes and everything. I think they are going to, that's going to lead into it. I think they're going to protect Bryce Young as much as possible, keep him clean, give him quick passes, get him into a rhythm, and then occasionally let him make his big plays downfield, either with his legs or, making schoolyard football plays in the back, out there.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, and this is going to be a key probably every week. Like, protect Bryce, because Bryce is a small quarterback, and we don't want him to get hit a lot. And he's going to be way more effective. Right. But, he's slight, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Now, he hasn't shown a propensity for getting hurt, but keeping him protected and upright is going to be a key to every victory. Our next key to victory here is going to be the Panthers are going to need to run the ball. We haven't seen Miles Sanders at all in the preseason, so this will be his debut for the Panthers. He needs to run for over 100 yards, I think. We need Chuba to do something out there, 30, 40 yards. LaVisca maybe some end arounds. I mean, I'd like to see a dynamic running game from the Panthers, but they need to control the clock as much as they can.
And I think that's a game plan going in. I think there's a reason why they didn't show Miles Sanders out there. I'm pretty sure Deuce Staley has a nose for what he does well since his time before.
Sure.
And I think Frank Reich likes to run the ball. Look at what he did in Indianapolis. Even when Andrew Luck was there, because every other quarterback was garbage. I mean, let's be real.
True. Yeah, I mean, having Jonathan Taylor helps, but I think Miles Sanders is going to have a really good year for us this year, and I expect that to start this week.
Yeah. Now, moving on to another key to a Panthers attack, pressuring Desmond Ridder. He's a second-year quarterback that didn't really start that much last year, and he
didn't look great when he did.
He did not look great. That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. He did not look good when he started. Trying to find his stats from last year real quick, and of course I don't have them. He lined up in the slot one time. Of course, I find that stat easily.
There you go. That's what you were looking for. I mean, the eye test alone, he just didn't look great.
Yeah, he really did not. I was shocked they're going in with him. To be fair, it's so weird that as a fan of a team that struggled because of quarterback play, it shocks me that they're going in with him. And if any Falcons fans are going to call me or get upset, I mean, seriously, guys, what do you want?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they feel pretty confident that Ritter's going to be, serviceable at least this year. They've put a good team around him. He's got skill position players. He's got a decent line. That defense, I still don't know about, but I don't know that if it's going to be shootouts for Ridder. I would not count on him to do a lot, but they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to do everything they can to keep him from having to win games. But keeping that pressure on him is going to be nothing but beneficial for the Panthers. And our final key to victory here, at least my final key to victory here, third downs. Both converting them and getting off the field on defense. This has been something that we have been, as Panthers fans, just not blessed in the third down category over the last several years. I mean, it has been rough. I mean, there have been, 15% conversion games, recent conversion games. We've given up over 50% many times over the last few years. I want to see a new regime. I really want to see a new third down philosophy, something. I just want it to change. I want us to be converting 40% of them, and I want to get off the field most of the time when the other team has third down. It's so important. Mm-hmm. And it leads, and everything else that we talked about, up to this point, it all comes down to third downs, in my opinion. So that's incredibly important.
Yeah. And I did finally feel, I 100% agree with that, with the third downs. Like, that has got to be so demoralizing the way it's been of, especially in the previous regime, it was getting to the point where teams were converting 70% of the third downs on us. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, you got them down to a 3rd and 12. How do you give up that every time?
And it is. It's like you said, it's so demoralizing. It's so upsetting as a fan to not be able to convert 3rd and 2, right?
Yeah.
Not be able to convert 3rd and 4 ever. If you're in 3rd and 7, you might as well just punt right then. Mm-hmm. Right? Save yourself a sack and just punt right then. It's just I really hope that we see something different this year.
I do too, and I think we will. I think this whole, I guess this preview is so difficult because I don't feel like we've seen this Panther team at all. I feel like this is going to be the first time we actually see it.
I hope that's the case because they were not impressive in preseason at all. A lot of the national media is writing the Panthers off.
100%.
And a lot of it comes from how just inept they looked in the preseason. They just looked flaccid, right? I mean, they looked terrible. So I'm hoping that what Frank Reich is saying is true and that they did show nothing in the preseason.
Yeah, they better have, because if that was what they were really going to be showing, I mean, that's going to be a very long season.
It's going to be such a long season, and it may be Frank Reich's only season.
100%.
Honestly. So I really hope that that's not the case. He has such a good supporting cast around him. I can't imagine that they're going to be that bad.
I don't imagine that vanilla either. I mean, with this receiving core, they're going to have to scheme those guys open. Yeah. They don't have a number one that's going to be able to break off and just outplay most of the corners, number one corners.
Yeah. And they did come alive a bit in that third game, and that's what we wanted to see. We haven't had Burns and Houston play at all in the preseason. We haven't had Miles Sanders play at all in the preseason, so I do expect them to look a lot better week one. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm really, really excited, and I have high hopes this season.
I do too. I'm sure everyone in the NFC South has high hopes for this season.
Yeah.
Let's be. I will say this: I do think Atlanta is probably the team that worries me the most in this division, because I think Arthur Smith is a very good coach, and I think he can pull a rabbit out of his hat with Desmond Ridder. Whether it's him really only throwing the ball 10, 12 times, and Bijan Robinson and Algier and Cordell Patterson running the ball 40 times.
I think that's their recipe for success. And I think that Arthur Smith would love nothing more than to have Desmond Ridder throw less than 15 times a game. Because if he is, then they're probably winning those games. Honestly.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think the Falcons, everyone's talking the Saints, but I think they're poorly coached.
I do too.
Very poorly coached. Derek Carr may be on the downside of his career. In fact, I don't even think that he's maybe on the downside. He is on the downside of his career. And they've got a lot of questions. Now, they have a talented team, but they are so poorly coached. I just don't have any faith that they're going to do much.
I mean,
much better than last year.
I was going to say, look at the Bucs had Tom Brady and barely squeaked out this division. I mean, the Saints add Derek Carr, and that's about it, and they expect that they're going to dominate. I mean, the same coaching staff is there.
Yeah.
Like, what has changed really for them? Besides Derek Carr. Yes, Derek Carr's an improvement, but I don't see him light years ahead of where they were at last year.
I don't think any team in the South is light years ahead of any of the other teams, except maybe the Bucs are. But even the Bucs have a lot of talent.
That
right? They
defense
just don't have
is
talent
still
at quarterback.
I was going to say that defense is still solid. They have a good receiving core and a
but I don't
decent
think
line.
I don't think they have a great coach either.
No.
And their quarterback situation is awful. So, I mean, this division is here for the Panthers. We've talked about it all preseason. We've talked about it really since the draft. That this division is up for grabs, and the Panthers should have as good a shot as anybody to take it. And that starts now.
Yes, it does.
Can't wait. All right, Jerry, let's do some predictions here. Give me your boldest prediction for this game.
We've talked about him. We haven't seen him in a uniform. Miles Sanders, 160 total yards, his first game as a Carolina Panthers.
Ooh. I think that's if that comes true, that's a W.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Panthers win for sure. I'm going to go with a defensive bold prediction here. I think a newly contracted Brian Burns comes out of the gate on fire 3.5 sacks in week 1
Nice.
for Brian Burns, which leads to a Panthers victory.
Yeah, most likely.
We'll see. All right. Well, speaking of, what do you think this game is going to? I'll go first. You went first last time. So,
Yep.
Panthers win this one 17-14. I'm going to use the score that I used earlier. 17-14, Panthers victory.
I am going to go Panthers victory 27-20.
Okay. I think your game would be more exciting. So
That's what I'm hoping for. And I also think that both teams have not really shown much in the preseason, so I'm hoping that
Yeah. No doubt there. All right. We have a couple other NFC South games here that we'll briefly discuss. The Bucks take on the Vikings at 1 p.m. Fully expect the Vikings to win that game. And then the Saints and Titans. I think that could be a very interesting game. Again, don't really know what the Titans are going to be this year. But they are extremely well coached. So if I had to guess, I would go with the Titans on that one as well. I think the Panthers could be 1-0 and the only 1-0 team in this division after week 1.
Yeah, I mean, for these NFC South games, Vikings and Titans, I could easily see winning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Panthers and Falcons. I mean, one of them is going to get a W. Hopefully, I don't want to watch a tie game, but
Well, we know it's going to be the Panthers, Jerry.
yes.
Right? I mean, obviously. All right. Well, any other final thoughts about this game or
Final thought. I'm
anything
excited.
else?
I'm excited to see Bryce Young. I'm excited to see the actual team that's going to be playing this year because I have high hopes. And they could be coming crashing down. I hope not. But, recent years have brought it to that point in my head.
I can promise you that even if the Panthers lose this game, I'm still going to be excited about week 2. And even if they lose week 2, I'm still going to be excited about week 3. I'm going to leave it there. We'll see after week 3. But I think this is going to be a fun season. And hey, the future is at quarterback. I 100% believe that. Bryce Young is going to be here for a long time. He's going to be a really good player. The future is at edge. Jonathan Mingo, I think, is going to be a star at some point. We've got a lot to look forward to. And maybe it's not this year that it all comes together, but it's coming. It is coming.
Yes. And before we go off, we will be setting up our Bryce Young nickname Twitter poll, and it'll be connected in the YouTube description. And we're going to pick out a few names. And then once we pick one out, I will be calling Bryce Young that very soon. I saw someone came up with a Brycestro, like Maestro.
The Brycestro, yeah.
I really liked it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of hope we put that one on the Twitter poll.
I like that one too. I'm not going to commit to calling him that, depending on what the outcome of the poll is, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
I'll give it a shot.
All right.
Also, go Buffaloes!
Yeah, that feels weird. That feels so weird, man.
All right, Jerry.
All right. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMixPodcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll be back Sunday afternoon to recap week 1, hopefully a Panthers victory. And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.